Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend.
How about you? Do you have a good one?
Very quick.
Yeah, they do go by
2
fast,
days,
don't they?
Yes,
they do.
How about 3 days?
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you're thinking.
Well, we have who's on today? Oh, Pam Yankee, our the fabulous farm babe, is going to be on taking your questions.
A lot of issues facing Wisconsin farmers, so if you have a question for Pam, we'll let you know when it's time to call in. And Will Loper will be here to review Mamma Mia and the new Denzel Washington movie. Which one was that?
Executioner? The Equalizer.
Equalizer.
All right. 2.
Equalizer 2.
Dose.
Right. Yes.
All right, so here's what's making news on this Monday. As President Trump shows off American-made products at the White House, local car dealers are warning the president's tariff proposals could raise the price you pay for vehicles and service. In
Sun Prairie, it's been 2 weeks since the deadly gas explosion, and cleanup is now getting underway. Our Rose Schmidt is live on Main Street. She'll join us in just a little bit.
Yeah, and crews in Branson raised the duck boat that capsized to the surface as the Coast Guard investigation continues.
Let's take a look outside today. Beautiful summer afternoon, sunny and warm.
These horses are loving it. Getting a little run in the afternoon. The weather word, spectacular summer sunshine. Chris Reese is out in the backyard weather patio enjoying that sunshine.
That's right. It is absolutely spectacular out here. Beautiful day. In fact, I know for some of you it may feel a little bit humid, but as I told the folks who were watching at noon, I spent the past week down in Kentucky and Tennessee, and I'll tell you what, this humidity feels great compared to what I had to deal with down there. Temperature-wise, we've seen a high of 83 degrees right here in Madison today. Just about the entire upper Midwest seeing those highs into the 70s and 80s. Black River Falls making it to 87 degrees today, a little bit cooler on the lakeshore. That's where they haven't gotten out of the 70s as of yet, with those winds blowing off the lake. Now, 83, 2 degrees warmer than the average high for this time of the year, but our low this morning starting out 3 degrees cooler than the average low. So nonetheless, no matter how you want to name it, it's about how temperatures should be for this time of the year. We still do sit at 83 degrees right now, dew points into the low 60s. The temperatures all in the 70s and 80s right here across south central Wisconsin at this very hour. We are tracking a cold front arriving from the north and west. I use the term cold front loosely simply because it's not all that cold behind that front, but it did have some showers and thunderstorms to the north and west earlier. The thing is, it's running into an environment that really does not have all that much in the way of moisture, so we're not too concerned with rain chances around here in Madison as we go through the rest of the night. First alert traffic looks great. Here's a live look at the Beltline and Todd Drive at this very time. Traffic moving along smoothly. You'll notice the volume beginning to increase as we go through time. Dane County, for the most part, is looking good, but those Beltline slowdowns are starting to show up. You see some of those headed down south towards Oregon, and then, of course, Stoughton Road at the Beltline showing a few brake lights as well. And then, of course, anywhere between John Nolan and about Park Street right now, that's where you're really seeing some of those slowdowns. We're starting to see more brake lights downtown as well. And as we go through the rest of the afternoon, we'll notice these speed times get slower and slower. So if you have the opportunity to maybe leave work early and head home, it's a good time to do it. But do know that afternoon rush hour gets started here in just a bit. The guys at the desk.
All right. We'll see you in a few minutes, Chris.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, Chris. First at 4, 2 fire trucks manufactured in Appleton are among the American products being highlighted at the White House today.
President Trump invited manufacturers from all 50 states to show off their goods at his Made in America showcase as his administration prepares to enter trade wars on several fronts.
The more we make things in America, the stronger America becomes. That's why we will always live by 2 crucial rules: buy American and hire American.
From baseball bats to boots to cowboy hats, moon pies, and military jets, manufacturers of items large and small from all 50 states came to show off their goods and reaffirm their commitment to keep their products made in the USA. Ford had its 150 pickup truck on display at the event. The Commerce Department is considering a new 25% tariff on imported cars and auto parts. The auto industry says the tariff will only lead to fewer American jobs. And those tariffs on car imports could raise prices by thousands of dollars for some makes and models, or even just car parts for cars made right here in the United States.
Our Jamie Perez spoke with Smart Motors, the Toyota dealership in Madison this afternoon, to get their perspective on how this could affect you and their business. Jamie?
Well, whether you're buying a car or just buying a car parts, this can and will affect you in the coming months if the tariffs are implemented. Last year, 44% of all U.S. car sales were from imported vehicles. That's according to a report by CBS News. And even if you have a car that's made right here in the U.S., there are parts to every car that are imported. The proposed 25% tariff will affect not just car customers, but dealerships as well, further impacting our economy.
Of course, we want to support the president in any way we can. However, a tariff like this is just, it's going to negatively affect our customers. And that's at the end of the day, we know things are getting more and more expensive, and we're doing everything we can to keep the cost down.
If the proposed tariffs are implemented, it could increase the cost by almost $2,000 for some cars. Now, it might be another couple of months before the Department of Commerce will decide whether or not to enforce these proposed tariffs.
All right, Jamie Perez live in the News Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. President Trump is considering revoking the security clearances of a half dozen former Obama administration officials and critics of his presidency. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said the president is exploring the mechanisms to strip clearance from former CIA Director John Brennan, along with former FBI Director Jim Comey and others. Also today, the president forcefully responded to the president of Iran, who warned that war with Iran is, quote, the mother of all wars. Mola Lenghi has more from the White House.
National Security Advisor John Bolton backed up a tweet from President Trump Monday. He issued a statement saying, President Trump told me that if Iran does anything at all to the negative, they will pay a price like few countries have ever paid before. Sunday, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani threatened Mr. Trump, saying, don't play with the lion's tail. This would only lead to regret, and added that peace with Iran is the mother of all peace, and war with Iran is the mother of all wars. President Trump fired back. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious.
Not at all.
President Trump has taken a hard line with Iran since taking office and was highly critical of the deal the Obama administration negotiated to stop Iran's nuclear weapons program. President Trump pulled America out of the Iran nuclear deal back in May, and the U.S. will reimpose oil and banking sanctions against Iran next month.
He seemed to bank on economic sanctions being enough to get them back to the table. Is that still his plan B?
Look, as we have said, the president's #1 goal is to make sure Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon.
Sunday, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo called on Iranians to stand up to their own government.
The level of corruption and wealth among Iranian leaders shows that Iran is run by something that resembles the mafia more than a government.
Iran responded to Pompeo's remarks, saying the U.S. is trying to interfere in state matters. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, the White House.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu kicked off his cabinet meeting today, praising President Trump for taking a tough stand against Iran. Iran has pledged to destroy Israel in the past, and Netanyahu has long pushed international partners to do more to stand up to Iran. It has been almost 2 weeks since the deadly natural gas explosion in Sun Prairie.
Sun Prairie Police and the State Fire Marshal's Office continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding that explosion. Our Rose Schmidt is live on Main Street in downtown Sun Prairie to show us what areas are still restricted to the public. Rose?
That's right. Now, investigators have finished collecting evidence and processing the scene you see behind me, but there is still quite a lot of work to be done in cleaning up this area. Now, we've seen crews out here all day long, moving piles of debris and broken glass. Now, the fenced-in area became smaller on Friday, so most business owners have been able to get inside and start cleaning up. Owners have had building inspectors and engineers from the city and their insurance companies walk through and survey the damage, but there's still a long road ahead.
So there's just a lot of steps, which just causes stress for everybody. You know, people are losing business when they're not open. And, you know, we're all trying to keep a positive attitude, a lot of fundraisers, a lot of stuff like that. It's just plain stressful.
Several buildings will likely need to have the roofs replaced, including the old City Hall and the Pit Stop Pub. Luckily, some buildings close to the explosion site only had minor cosmetic damage, like the city's Chamber of Commerce. Now, city officials say there are still significant safety concerns in this area, so as of now, it is still closed off to the public, and it's going to stay that way until they make sure that it's safe. Now, property owners who want to get inside can get in contact with the city's building inspector. And coming up on News 3 at 5, we'll hear from the owner of Pit Stop Pub, who tells us what's next for him and his business.
We will see you at 5. Rose Schmidt reporting live from Sun Prairie. Thanks, Rose.
A shooting in Toronto last night that left 3 people dead does not appear to be related to terrorism. A gunman killed 2 people before he either took his own life or was shot by police. Cell phone video captured a man dressed in black opening fire in Toronto's Greektown neighborhood. Police say the 29-year-old man shot 14 people. He exchanged gunfire with police. Toronto City Council held a moment of silence at their meeting this morning.
Definitely wasn't a gang-related incident, a gang-related shooting. We have to do something about guns. We have a gun problem in the city of Toronto.
Toronto police have deployed dozens of extra officers to its streets following a spike in gun violence. This shooting comes a few months after a man drove a van into pedestrians in that city, killing 10 people.
Crews retrieved the capsized duck boat from the bottom of a Missouri lake today. The Coast Guard hoisted a waterlogged duck boat from 80 feet of water at Table Rock Lake in Missouri. State Highway Patrol divers photographed the vessel underwater before bringing it to the surface. 17 people died when the boat capsized in a thunderstorm Thursday. 14-year-old Lauren Smith made it out alive, but she lost her father and her brother.
It was just murky water. I know I swallowed a lot of it trying to breathe.
The NTSB is now looking into what the captain knew about the weather before he faced 73-mile-per-hour wind gusts and 4 to 6 foot waves with 30 passengers aboard. Life jackets were on board as required, but one survivor said the captain told passengers they wouldn't need them.
The TSA is launching new technology that could change the way bags are scanned at airports across the country. The brand new 3D CT scanner in the American Airlines terminal at New York's JFK Airport can see through just about anything in a carry-on bag to spot a potential threat. Here's what a TSA screener sees now from the current generation of X-ray machines. There we go. Now look closely. Can you spot the knife?
That's why TSA asks you to remove your laptop, for this reason. But using your finger, just manipulate it around, and there it is.
Oh, wow. We think in perhaps 5 years or so, the passengers won't have to take anything out of their carry-on bag.
The TSA tested the scanners in Phoenix and Boston and have found them to speed up the screening process. Congress is pushing the TSA to get these out there as quickly as possible, but it'll take years to replace all the old X-ray machines at every airport.
There's more to come at 4. When we come back, Mamma Mia is back on the big screen with a prequel sequel.
Our film critic Will Loper will tell us what he thinks of Mamma Mia. Here we go again when Live at 4 continues. Well, the Madison Common Council is holding a special meeting tonight to review resumes and make a final recommendation on who should fill out outgoing Alder Mark Clear's seat.
Clear served on the city council for 11 years and is leaving after accepting a new job. Clear calls serving the city of Madison one of the greatest experiences of his life. Clear has decided to step down because he accepted a new full-time job as the COO for 360 Networks. He says he still cares deeply about the district that he's represented for more than a decade.
The most important thing happening in District 19 is the growth of Exact Sciences. Both its headquarters in the Research Park and its new facility south of the Beltline, the old Rayovac site, are in the district, and the growth of this company has just been an amazing thing to watch.
Clear will serve in the seat until the council appoints a successor next month. This isn't the only change to the Madison City Council. District 16 Alder Denise DeMarb is also stepping down. 5 applicants are vying for her position.
A replacement is set to be announced at a special meeting tomorrow night. On Wall Street, stocks closed mixed as investors await an earnings report from Google's parent company. The Dow Industrials lost 13 points, closing at 25,044. The NASDAQ Composite Index gained 21. The S&P 500 added 5.
All 3 of us are grandfathers, and that's it. Look what you've done with the place. She wanted to make her mum proud, if she hasn't done that all her life.
We can't tell anybody about the baby yet.
I just told Bill. Yeah, and I told Harry. I told many, many people.
I just got that song out of my head from last week.
I love that music.
That was a clip from Mamma Mia. Here we go again, one of the newest movies to do a choreographed dance into theaters.
Will you dance? Will you jive? Will you have the time of your life? I could sing it, but I will spare you that agony.
Oh, come on, sing it.
And here to let us know is our film critic, Will Loper.
Hello. Hi, I'm sorry, everybody. These songs will be stuck in your head, as they have been in mine since Saturday, yes. So this movie is enough to make a dancing queen or super trooper out of anyone, let me tell you. It's bright, it's buoyant, it'll take all of your willpower not to sing along to this movie. So Amanda Seyfried, she returns as Sophie, about to do a grand reopening of the hotel her mom, Donna, played by Meryl Streep, started. Now throughout the movie, we flash back to Donna's past, seeing how she met her 3 lovers, played in present day by Pierce Brosnan, Stellan Skarsgård, and Colin Firth. Now these characters exist in a world where entire restaurants of people jump up and instantly begin singing and dancing highly detailed choreographed musical numbers. It's cheesier than a 10-pound block of Wisconsin cheddar, but I'll be darned if it won't bring a smile to your face. Now, the film doesn't utilize Cher or Meryl Streep nearly as much as it ought to, but if you like the first film at all, or you just need a ray of sunshine in your life, go and see this movie.
So this is a prequel and a sequel,
yes,
right?
They sort of described it as the Godfather Part 2 of Mamma Mia's, where you sort of, you get the flashbacks, the prequel of Meryl Streep's early life, and you see what's happening in the present day.
I was excited that Cher's in this, but not much, apparently.
And, you know, you see her featured in the trailer, and then you go to the movie, and she's just barely in it. She's just right at the end, sings 2 songs, and she's done.
All right, well, that's a disappointment. What's your rating?
I give this one 3.6. Where's the beef lady saying, where's the Streep out of 5. Need more Meryl. How do you not utilize Meryl?
More Meryl and more Cher.
Yes.
All right, up next, Equalizer 2.
I punish the guilty. If you're lucky, I'll give you the opportunity to do the right thing. This ain't one of those times.
So Denzel Washington, now this is his first sequel of his career, if you can believe it, and, you know, maybe he should have waited for a better movie to do it with. He returns as Robert McCall, a man with pretty much unbeatable fighting, shooting, and surveillance skills. He's like Jason Bourne, except he has all his memory this time around. So his friend gets murdered, and he sets out to get whoever was responsible. Now, somewhere in this movie is a terrific 90-minute film. Instead, we have a 2-hour and 12-minute movie.
That's a problem.
If it just had been trimmed up, so... Still, Denzel's acting amazing as always. The movie's best when he's kicking the butts of bad guys. Not as good as the first Equalizer, but, you know, it'd make a great rental or when it's free on TV and you need to waste an afternoon.
And it's #1 in the box office.
It was. Right. It just barely edged out Mamma Mia, and people were pretty surprised by that.
All right.
The draw of Denzel.
The Denzel. What's the rating?
2.9. Denzel's out of 5.
You just got to hear that name.
as if I planned it, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to fill those seats.
How about next week?
We got Mission Impossible Fallout.
This is Tom Cruise again?
This is Tom Cruise
again?
back, hanging off helicopters and jumping off buildings.
All right.
Good for him. All right, Will. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Will. Good to see you.
I'm not going to sing that all day. Well, there's more to come at 4. Thousands of people are waiting in line to buy a new Tesla automobile.
But for some, delays in delivery by Tesla is a cause for concern as the federal tax credit on all electric vehicles is running out. We'll have that story coming up after the First Alert forecast.
Take a look at this. Tens of thousands of sardines surprised a group of fishermen by leaping out of the water and into their fishing boat in the northern Taiwan port city. A fisherman recorded this as he and his crew were cleaning the boat for the night. The fisherman says he saw a group of barracudas in the area and says it's possible they were hunting the sardines, whipping them into a frenzy.
Wow, what a sight that is.
That's easy fishing. It's Monday, July 23rd. It's Yada 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 Day from Seinfeld.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. It's also Hot Enough For You Day.
Because this is the hottest time of the year right about now, isn't it?
Yeah, oddly enough, we're on the downside now. Our average temperature coming down. And, yep,
but
it's that time.
You're just back from Kentucky, so this is cool.
It feels great to me, and it was unbearable down there. I couldn't do it.
The South.
Are you looking for a way to cool off? Well, grab a spoon because today is National Vanilla Ice Cream Day. Vanilla is the most popular flavor, interestingly enough. If you like vanilla, you're in very good company. Even President Thomas Jefferson had a weakness for vanilla ice cream. We have video instead of props today, unfortunately.
We'll get, okay,
we can get some ice cream after the show,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I'll go down and get some ice cream. Be a nice way to spend the evening.
It will be a nice way to spend the evening. It's a spectacular summer evening, as we said at the top of the show. So if you want to head out and get some ice cream, why not? I mean, come on, school's going to start here before too long anyway.
No.
I saw a back-to-school commercial, so go ahead,
There you
kids.
go,
You can
kids.
hate me. I had to be the one to say it. But I've got your full forecast coming up after this break.
The link.
And what a beautiful day it has been here in South Central Wisconsin. We've seen plenty of sunshine. We've had the decorator clouds out there. Now, the clouds starting to thicken up a little bit at this very moment. We'll talk about why that is here in a second, but it's still a pretty beautiful day out on the lake. If you're going to be out on Lake Mendota, today's a good day to do it. 83 degrees the temperature right now. The dew point at 64. Winds out of the north and northeast at about 7 miles per hour. All of our temperatures are mainly into the 70s and 80s. Janesville, degree cooler at 82 right now. Same goes for our friends over in Monroe. 81 for our friends over in Mineral Point. Now we get over towards the lakeshore. Temperatures are a little bit cooler. Sheboygan at 70 right there. Milwaukee coming in at 74. Dew points also into the 60s, but it's not unbearable humidity. We can thank the northerly wind flow coming into town for the humidity that's really not all that bad. But check this out. We have that northwesterly flow that meets up with that lake breeze coming in from the north and east. Where you have that boundary, we've actually seen evidence of some showers trying to go at times, especially south and west of Kenosha. The problem is there's really not a whole lot of moisture to lead to some showers or thunderstorms. Not here, not across the upper Midwest. Even the showers and thunderstorms we saw across Minnesota, those have begun to fall apart. But I'm going to show you what is absolutely cool to me. You all probably don't care, but I don't mind nerding out on television. Check out that northwesterly wind flow. You see some of those clouds that are oriented to the north and west. Where they meet up with these clouds coming in from the north and east, that's where we've really seen these clouds really begin to kind of explode and develop over the past couple of hours. That would be thunderstorms if we had more moisture around, but nonetheless, there's not enough moisture to do that. But that's kind of what you see when two boundaries come together and provide upward motion to get more cloud cover. Now, the main cold front that we're focused on is still back to the north and west, working its way into town. In between then, there's lots of sunshine over portions of Illinois and Wisconsin. The thing is, it's not that strong of a cold front. Temperatures still fairly warm behind that. The biggest change that you will actually begin to pick up on is the fact that the air will be even drier than some of that air that we have out there now. So the dew point, Minneapolis, 69, Sioux Falls, 60, Bismarck, the dew point into the 40s across the Dakota. So it's that drier air that will gradually try to move on into town. The thing is, it's not going to make it completely the entire way. We'll get in on some more humidity as we go through the rest of the week. And then the better chance of rain comes from this upper air trough that's going to be swinging on through here Wednesday night and into Thursday. It's not going to be a lot of rain, though. In fact, as we go through pretty much the rest of the week, we're looking at potentially less than 1/10 of an inch of rain from any kind of showers, at least on this model in particular. So we'll keep a close eye on what other kind of shower chances that we'll have. In the meantime, temperatures, though, those are going to be coming down. That is where things are going to feel absolutely fantastic. Thursday into Friday, 75 degrees being the temperature, no better than that. And then, of course, as we get you into the weekend, we'll come back up into the lower 80s before going back into the mid and upper 70s towards days 9 and 10. So it's going to be several days of weather that just absolutely feels fantastic. 63 degrees tonight, will be partly cloudy, mild and muggy, though, with some of that humidity sticking around. By tomorrow, 84 degrees, mostly sunny, warm, and yes, it will be a little humid, though still not as humid as we've seen in previous days. And then, of course, we'll eventually watch our temperatures begin to come down as we go through the next 10 days. 75 for Thursday after that late rain chance in the day on Wednesday. By Friday, sunshine, 75. Can't rule out the slight chance of a shower. 79 by Saturday. 80s do return for Sunday and Monday, as do some chances for some showers and thunderstorms. But once again, even still, those do not look overly heavy at the moment, but still one of those better chances for rain that we do have in our forecast. Staying, though, my friends, into the 70s, potentially into next week. So, like I said, average temperatures coming down, and we're seeing a pattern that's not as hot and humid as some of those patterns we've seen all summer.
And August can be hot.
Oh, yes, it sure can. Those are the dog days now,
Right.
so I'm not going to completely knock August, but right now it looks okay.
We need a little break. We had a hot start to this summer.
It was a hot start, and now we're going to get to a point where we want some additional rain to kind of catch up for the month of July as well.
All right, Chris, thank you.
All right,
My
thank
pleasure.
you, Chris. For many on the list to buy one of Tesla's mass-market electric cars, the wait for the company to produce enough to satisfy demand isn't a major problem.
But the prospect of losing a U.S. federal tax credit is. Keith Reynolds went to great lengths to reserve a spot for his Tesla Model 3, and it paid off. He was among the first on the waiting list when Elon Musk's company started taking $1,000 deposits for its new electric car. That was March 2016, and the current waiting list has grown to 420,000.
I knew that the more expensive ones would be created first. In my own mind, I was thinking maybe 3 months, 6 months later, according to his own ramping projections, that I would be able to get the entry model.
More than 2 years later, Reynolds is still waiting, but that's not what's bothering him.
I think the point that I would probably be over it is when the incentives, both federal and state, disappear.
Because Tesla's sales have now hit 200,000 since 2010, it means the $7,500 federal tax credit for rechargeable electric vehicles will be phased out. Current buyers will get the full credit through the end of the year, but it will gradually decrease until the end of 2019. And that could put the car, priced starting at $35,000, out of reach for Reynolds and others on the waiting list.
My decision was based on the low price point plus the tax break, We're a very value-conscious family.
Analysts say if buyers bail, it could spell more trouble for Musk and Tesla.
Tesla's under tremendous pressure. It's been through, as by their own words, production hell in getting the Model 3 out and getting it to the numbers and getting it to the price and deadline.
Tesla would not comment on the possibility of losing buyers from the waiting list. The company is using the Model 3 to move from a niche maker of expensive electric cars for the wealthy to an automaker for the masses.
The Model 3, that was supposed to be the volume vehicle. It's supposed to be high profit. It's not doing that just yet.
Reynolds says he's hopeful that the cheaper version he wants will be ready in time for the tax break.
I'm going to give it another 6 months, and we'll see.
A decision he wishes he didn't have to make after years of anticipation. And coming up Wednesday here on Live at 4, we'll go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs in the more affordable Nissan Leaf, an all-electric vehicle.
That's all electric.
It's all electric as well.
Interesting. Okay, that's coming up Wednesday.
And the tax break on that is starting to go down too. So
that's interesting. Now you're on the list for the Tesla, aren't you?
Yeah, but who knows?
Is it going to come up soon, or you have no idea?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's
I'm not holding my breath.
Well, still to come at 4. Do you know what is in the food that you and your family are eating?
They no doubt contain additives approved by the FDA. Now the American Academy of Pediatrics wants the feds to crack down on those additives. We'll find out why they're concerned when Live at 4 continues. A live look at downtown Madison on this sunny Monday afternoon. The nation's largest group of pediatricians is calling for urgently needed reform regarding thousands of food additives and food packaging materials.
The American Academy of Pediatrics says chemicals may pose health risks to children. Henna Doba reports from New York.
The American Academy of Pediatrics is calling for stronger federal regulations when it comes to more than 10,000 FDA-approved chemicals added to food and food packaging.
This is a huge statement by the nation's pediatricians saying, look, our food safety system is failing to protect the health of our children.
Of concern are direct additives such as artificial coloring, nitrates, and nitrites, preservatives commonly found in processed meat, as well as chemicals found in plastics, such as bisphenols and phthalates. Doctors say the additives can cause widespread health issues.
Hormone disruptions, sex hormones, thyroid hormones, it can lead to potential for obesity, cardiotoxicity.
The AAP says children are particularly vulnerable because they are still growing and developing. Parents Stephanie and Chris Schobel are very careful about what their two daughters ingest.
We definitely will look at the back of a package and say, hey, we're not going to buy this product. It's got, look at that long list of preservatives or red dye, whatever else, and we'll find one that is best for us.
The FDA said in a statement, if new information suggests that a substance already in use may be unsafe or if consumption levels have changed in ways that could affect safety, the FDA can conduct further studies to review whether the use can still be considered safe. The AAP says parents should wash fruits and vegetables and avoid processed meats to reduce chemical exposure. Hannah Doba, CBS News, New York.
The American Association of Pediatricians also suggests that parents store food in glass or stainless steel containers rather than plastic. Never microwave food in plastic and avoid plastics with recycling codes 3, 6, and 7.
Yeah, you look at the ingredients of some of this stuff, it's scary.
It's alarming. Yeah.
It really is. All right, well, coming up, the fabulous Farm Babe is in the house. We are taking your calls for Pam at 270-9933.
Pam Youngke's in the green room. Hi, Pam. What are we talking about today?
The weekend, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's going on with crops out there.
All right, 270.
And you know what time it is. Those traffic delays already beginning to show up. Here's a live look at the Beltline at Todd Drive right now. Traffic is moving, but it's not moving all that fast. We've seen several delays beginning to show up. For one, the Beltline very slow at this hour. Now southbound on US 14 did have an accident. That accident's finally now starting to get a little bit better for those of you who are going to be headed home that way. But on the Beltline, you're moving anywhere between 13 and 23 miles per hour right now, especially if you are going to be headed eastbound. Now, outside of the Madison area, most of Dane County does continue to look good, so that's great news. Some slowdowns, though, between University Avenue towards I-3990. That's going to be taking you about half an hour as of now. Between Verona Road and John Nolan, that's going to take you about 15 minutes. Traffic only moving at an average speed of 17 miles per hour. Guys?
Oh, dear. All right. Thank you, Chris. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee is in studio today. Great to see you again.
Guys, how are we doing? Good to see you.
270-9933,
We're
the number to
taking
call.
your calls today, and you brought a little photo album from the Dane County Fair.
I thought I might. You know, the Dane County Fair contracted a little bit this year, so it was a Thursday through Sunday fair, and I thought I'd show you how well people responded to the adjusted schedule. Friday night, we had our youth livestock auction, and, you know, you worry that some business folks won't want to take a Friday night to continue working, so to speak. But this was just an excellent sale. Always so proud of these kids and what they do. And like I said, very proud of all the folks that were in the audience to make sure that we finished up on time and with real good, solid bids. Then Saturday was my 15th annual Farm Bay Boogie Tractor Parade. And Suze, you and I have talked before about how you know, it's not about the tractors. It's a wonderful camaraderie with my buddies, but really it's about the little pea pods that just show up. Those tractors are like magnets, and they just, anything with a steering wheel, somebody said, and I agree. But, you know, we were only out there for about an hour and a half, and I want to thank the 15, 16 tractor drivers that came in. It's all on their own time, no money, no nothing. But when you see those kids, and I had a lot of parents that thanked us for doing it, and a lot of parents that said, reminds me of my dad, or reminds me of my grandpa. I had to call Pa Yankee while I was riding on my Case 500, let him know that it still sounded so good.
That is a great picture, Pam. Look at you. That's terrific.
And where does that tractor live the rest of the year?
Baraboo. My buddies at Luther Farms up in Baraboo.
And they haul it down for you?
Yep, they run it around for me.
And the Rock County Fair starts tomorrow?
Yeah, Columbia County Fair up in Portage, too. So we are in the throes of county fair season. So please, this weather is going to be fantastic. Please get out there and enjoy.
Usually the Dane County Fair, yeah.
Or it rains. This year we had a little bit of both, but Saturday was gorgeous. So.
All right, let's go to the phones. We'll start with Marianne in Columbia County. Hi, Marianne.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
I was wondering if it's legal to have air cannons blowing at night.
For what?
For what?
Well, we think it's some farmers trying to scare away the animals.
Well, it could be farmers. The DNR has employed some of those kind of sound explosion kind of things to move Canada geese along or something like that. I guess what I'd suggest to you, kiddo, is check in with your local law enforcement officers, call the county cops, or even DNR warden may be able to explain a little bit more. And you might want to give them a little bit of a geography lesson on where those sounds are coming from and at what time. You know, it is July still. I'm not saying that there couldn't be some of my country cousins out there that are still going through some fireworks or something like that. Yeah, I'm not saying, but like I said, if you're curious about that, talk to law enforcement. Just give them a buzz, and when they're driving through, they might be able to pick it up if it's something at a specific time.
You know, tariffs still making headlines.
Yeah.
Are they having an effect on Wisconsin farmers?
Every day. The thing that we're watching right now is the percentage. Right now, the United States is about the cheapest grain that you can find in the world, and that's really where we're concentrating a lot of our tariff attention. So we've probably lost in the neighborhood of 40 to 50% on our growth on soybeans. You know, when I was planting beans this spring, I sold them at about $9.70. I couldn't get $7.50 now if I had to. So that gives you a really sharp contrast in how quickly we can lose margins. The thing we're waiting on right now is to see what's going to happen with dairy. We know that Mexico and Canada are not necessarily excited about accepting any of our dairy, and a lot of our U.S. Wisconsin-specific specialty cheeses finds those markets most lucrative. So I haven't yet heard anybody squealing about the pain that it's causing them, but again, when it went into effect about the 6th of July, we're still just trying to figure out. And remember, some of these guys bought a lot of volume of U.S. corn, soybeans, wheat, and dairy before the tariffs kicked in, and so now they'll just feed it out of their warehouses or their supply system.
So the stream is sort of starting, and we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
How are milk prices right now?
No change, really no change. And I just had another milk production report this morning that showed Wisconsin was up about 1% in the month of June, 2.65 billion pounds of milk. And the thing is, we're doing it with 4,000 fewer cows than we had a year ago. But every one of the cows we've got in Wisconsin's producing about 30 pounds of milk more this year than she did last year. And that is a real testament not only to the genetics that we've got on our Wisconsin dairies, but the way that those farmers take care of those cows, especially with the heat that we've had and the erratic weather. They're doing everything right.
Just too productive. Well,
can't tell them to shut it off.
This is what happens now. Every line is blinking, and we're out of time.
That's all right. Stay on the line. I'll run into the newsroom and answer the questions.
All right.
Yeah.
Just
hang on.
All right. Thank you, Pam.
Thanks for doing that, Pam. Good to see you.
No sweat, guys.
All right.
Take it
We'll
easy.
have a final check of your forecast next. Chris is back now. A nice evening out there.
A nice evening out there. Temperatures are in the low 80s, but, you know, that's where we should be for this time of the year. 83 degrees, in fact, is the current temperature. We are mostly cloudy now, but some folks are seeing a lot of sunshine. It's going to be that same story with that mix of sun and clouds as we go through the remainder of the evening. We'll call it partly cloudy, temperatures falling towards 70, overnight lows right around 63.
Okay, it's July. It's going to be 80.
It's July.
It's almost August.
Almost.
Thanks,
All right,
Chris.
Tomorrow here on Live before Lisa Briggs from the Roost Company will be along taking your plant questions.
And are you looking for some new luggage for your summer getaway? Consumer Reports has some tips on picking the best luggage. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.